Alright, so first off, Blender. Now, Blender menus, navigation, and all that good stuff has to be covered before we cover all the cool stuff. So that's what we're going to be covering first, the menus. Menus within Blender. I have to show you where I'm at corresponding to where you're at. By default, this is what Blender looks like when we first open a box. But I might be hopping into different menus and stuff that you're going to feel lost at times. So this first video is just to basically ease your mind that there's not too many roads that you can go down in Blender. There's a few thousand forks in the roads, but they're all clearly labeled sometimes. You just got to know where to look. Take this for example. I'm in model view right now. I know that because it's clearly labeled model. There's animation, model, material, sequence, and scripting. All these are just pre-built in layouts. And I'll show you how to make one of these real quick. Okay. Go back to model. So that's a good way to keep up with me is basically go up here and make sure where I'm at. Am I in modeling? Yes, I am. Okay, down here is another different menu that you always have to be looking at to where I'm at. Okay, this one right here. So each one of these is a different sequence of menus. So there's two variations right here. I got my 3D view going, which is this right here, my 3D view. And here is the buttons window, which I'm going to be in like 99.85% of the time is my buttons window because that's where all the good buttons are. So just kind of look at these to make sure I'm in the same place you're at. Now, how do we make one of these? I mean, it's nice that, you know, I can switch between them. Feeling utterly lost. And if I hold Control and if I click the arrows, I can quickly switch between them. But how do I make one? Let's say I'm used to the forward layout orthographic views. You know, perspective, front, top, and right or left hand side. Let's make one of these. Okay, over here, I can right click anywhere on the outside. Very easily. First off, I have to mount this big. There we go. There we go. Now it gives me the split area. Split area allows me to click with the left mouse button and click again, and it will split the area. If I want that out of here at any one time, I can right click anywhere on this area and hit join areas. And it'll ask me, do I want to join the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top? Pretty easy, no doubt, right? Okay, so let's see how a 4 variation works. Split area, click, right click, split area, click, right click, split area, click. Now I have my 4 views. These views are not clearly labeled at all. So let's change that real quick. Let's go into the menu under User Preferences and click a button called View Name. There we go. Now we have our view names out there, and they're all the same right now because they're all clones of each other. So let's go back to Buttons window, and as I go along, I'll kind of walk you through what these do, but only when it's time necessary. Go back to the Buttons window. Now, how do I switch views? Now, I'm working on a laptop for the entire sequence of this video, so I'm not going to have a number pad. So, I'm going to be going into these and switching these views a lot. Here's how you switch views. Go to View. Your perspective view, as we know it in many 3D programs, is now User. So I'm going to put User over here. Over here I'm going to mount my top, which is already mounted. Here I'm going to mount my front. And here I'm going to mount my side. Just like that. Now if I need to save this, I can go up here and say Add New. And I do not want to make an empty one. I want to duplicate this. And there we go. I now have a duplicate model. I can go back to modeling 2 or modeling 1. Or I can go back to model, which are now what? Oh my god, how did I get back to the old one? I can't. That's the bad thing about this whole scenario. But here's what you can do. If I go to model, okay, and take all these off, join areas, and join area. I can now switch between modeling 0, 1 and then model. Just like that. Pretty neat, huh? Now if you thought ahead of time and just made new and then blank and started over from the beginning, you wouldn't have to do all that. Let's say I want to rename this. I can rename this maybe ortho. Ortho views. Just like that. So now I have a lot different variation. I have modeling, and then I have ortho views that I can quickly switch between. And they're all clearly labeled. So that is it for this section of the video. And then we're going to get into navigation within the program.